Okay, this is going to be a quick one. It's pretty specific. And because of Facebook again, I need to stay away from Facebook groups. But anyway, there is a Facebook group for tram lovers, or tram something. And in that group is a guy who got some 12-volt coil relays that he's trying to sell, that he says will go in a Tram D201. No, the Tram D201s run 115 volts for the coil of the relay, not 12 volt. The common voltage is 12, but some of these tube radios, or most of them, including Browning, they ran the high voltage relays. The tram uses a tube, and it uses the cathode of the tube to ground the relay to kick it in, and it runs on 115 volts. I think Browning also, I think it's a 115 volt relay, but Browning, they don't use a tube. They use the a dropping resistor straight from the high voltage. And that's why on the earlier Brownings, I think the 2s and earlier, I'm not sure about the 3s, that they use the high voltage straight through the dropping resistor. So if you don't connect it quite right, you can get a pretty good zap. It won't kill you, won't hurt you, but it'll make you do the happy dance pretty quick. But anyway, back to it. The guy is, selling these 12-volt relays. He wants $75 for them. And, we're trying to tell the guy, those won't work. You're going to let the magic smoke out you do that. And he's like, no, they work. Look at them. Look at the contacts and all that. Well, everything that looks the same electronically, won't work the same. And I knew a long time ago, I bought a box of 24-volt relays. I think I bought 100 of them. And these are the same, contacts and everything. But these are 24-volt coil. Don't know if I can zoom in and get it to go real good. There it is. It's like the second line from the top. 24-volt DC. I think that's it. Yep, 24 DC. Okay, that's what the coil runs on. Here's the box. 24-volt DC, 6-pole, double throw. That's the number of switches or contacts in the thing, and as you can see, it's 3 sets of contacts over here and 3 more over there. A Tram D201 series, I think, is the most complicated tube radio ever made. It's one of the best, but it's also one of the most complicated, and a lot can go wrong. But anyway, one of the things that does go wrong is the relay, and the proper 115-volt relay is hard to get, hard to find, and usually when you can find them, it's pretty expensive. And hence, when I found this box of 24-volt relays for a song and a dance, I bought it. And what I do in a tram, instead of trying to find the relay, the proper one, I just get a 24-volt small switching power supply and run these right off the power supply to get the power to the relay. And that works very well. One thing you don't want to do on the Tram series is run the relay off of the low voltage power supply. I think Tram, going by memory, and I'm not feeling good, so I could be a little off, but I think Tram has a 14-volt regulated power supply, and I think it's like 18 volts going into it, and it regulates it down to 14, I think. Going by memory, so I could be wrong, and like I say, I'm not feeling good again. But anyway, you don't want to run the relay off that, because what happens is when the relay kicks in, it pulls that power supply down like 0.1 volts, and that 0.1 volts affects the crystals and the frequency synthesis. So it alters that, it drops that a little bit. So it'll mess up your transmit and receive frequencies. It'll shift them. I guess that's the better word. So anyway, in this radio is the proper relay. And that should have 115 volt, the third line. 115 volt DC, 9,000 ohms, right? So that's the proper relay for this radio. That's the coil on this side, and that coil on 115 volt relays runs on 115 volts, the proper relay for a tram. Whereas this is my 24 volt replacement. Looks like I'm on the wrong side. So if I stuck that in there, it would let the magic smoke out for my 24 volt DC. And the guy with the 12 volts, you know, that's even worse. You're going to stick that in there and let the smoke out your radio. You need the proper relay with the proper voltage, you know, for these trams. And yep, the 115 volts are not unobtainium, but you can find them. But usually they're 50, 75 bucks, you know, for a relay, and who wants to spend that? So the guy thinks he's got some and he doesn't. Here's just some general relays here. Most relays are 12 volt. Just something I had lying around. 12 volts is what the coil here runs off of. You put 12 volts to the coil, the magnet energizes, the magnet pulls in the magnetized or the metal hinge there, and when it pulls in, it goes from that closed contact to the right, the center contact goes from the right and pulls into the contact on the left. And this one has just 2 contacts, where the tram, what makes it hard is it's got 6 different contacts in it. Tram's really unusual with that, but you know, it's a tram. And here's another just generic relay. Got 3 sets of contacts, which a lot of amplifier relays has. Usually, almost all the time, the coil or the contacts for coils on these plug-in relays are almost always on the back or on one side, like this one. And you can see the wire going to the coil, and these 3 go to the 3 contacts of the relay. And I got a guy asking about a varmint. He can't get it to power up and what voltage goes where, and I looked, and his varmint has a preamp in it, and they're all on one board, and I don't have a matching varmint, so I can't help him very much. But on the relay, you're going to have power coming in, usually from the low voltage power supply through the standby switch to one side of the relay coil. And then the other side, in a CB amplifier, is going to go to the keying circuit, which is going to ground it. You're going to have power coming in on one side, 12 volts for a 12 volt relay, give or take. And then this side, the keying circuit is going to ground it. If you want to, actually, it don't necessarily be this side, but I'm just saying it could be either side of the relay in most of them. So, anyway, if you got the hot coming in here, this side will be grounded by the keying circuit. And Nomad, by the way, makes a very good keying circuit that's better than, you know, anything you're going to find in an amplifier. But also, if you want to take a foot switch, and you know which side's the hot spot, just take a wire from the cold side and then run it through a switch, foot switch or whatever kind of switch, and then take the other end of the switch and take it directly to ground the chassis, and that will key the relay. Every time you key the switch, it'll ground the cold side. Anyway, I think I went over everything I wanted to go over in this video, so we're gonna cut it. But anyway, Tram D201, they run on 115 volt relays. Do not get a 12 volt or a 24 volt and stick it in there and think it's gonna work. Bad news. Anyway, that's it for this one. Bye.